Have you ever felt like your city literally turns into an oven in the summer? Yeah, it's a feeling a lot of us know. Well, today we're going to dive into a pretty amazing project that's tackling this exact problem by turning concrete jungles into, well, actual jungles.
All right, first up, let's actually talk about that feeling. That intense, radiating warmth you only seem to get when you're surrounded by buildings and asphalt?
I mean, really think about it for a second. Why is it that stepping onto a downtown parking lot feels 10 degrees hotter than just standing in a park a few miles away? It's a question we've all probably wondered about at some point. Well, that feeling, it actually has a name. It's not just in your head. It's a real phenomenon known as urban heat. And this is the key problem we're going to unpack today. Okay, so let's get into it. What exactly is this urban heat thing? Because it's a lot more than just a hot day. It's a specific effect that our cities themselves are creating. So here's the deal. Urban heat is what happens when our cities absorb and then blast out the sun's heat way more than a natural landscape would. All of that concrete, all that steel, all that asphalt, it basically acts like a giant storage heater that's been left on. And this comparison just lays it all out, plain and simple. Over on the left, in a more natural place, you've got trees giving shade, and the ground absorbs moisture, which cools the air. But on the right, in the city, you have all these dark surfaces just soaking up the sun's rays and buildings that trap all that heat in. It's a perfect visual for why our downtown areas can get so incredibly hot. So we've got this massive heat problem that's literally baked into the fabric of our cities. But what if the cure could be just as integrated? What if the cure was green? And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We can't just knock everything down and start over. We need a clever solution that works with the buildings we already have. And that's where things start to get really cool. So meet the vertical forest. And yeah, it is exactly what it sounds like. A forest that grows up instead of out. We're talking about a living, breathing skin of pure greenery wrapped right around a building. So how does this actually help? Well, the benefits are huge, and they're pretty much immediate. For one, all those plants naturally cool the air around them. They also create a ton of shade for the building itself, which means the building's surface isn't absorbing nearly as much heat from the sun. And as a pretty amazing bonus, all of those leaves are actively filtering pollutants out of the air. It's like a multi-tool for fighting urban heat. And you know what? This isn't just some futuristic idea from a sci-fi movie. This is happening right now. So let's jump over to a real-world example and see how this is turning into something incredible in the middle of a major city. And that brings us to London. They are actively taking their existing buildings and retrofitting them with these green facades. It's a deliberate plan to bring nature back into the places it was pushed out of, all to fight back against